Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RV GCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RV GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
Hey, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Saturday Night Dialogues. It is September the 13th, 2025. We have a very, very impactful call for you tonight that's going to give you a lot of details and updates on what Iraq is doing as far as dinar and their latest updates related to the RV of the Iraqi dinar. Also, Vietnam, their latest updates on the revaluing of the Vietnamese dong. Also, how the United States is preparing for the global currency reset. All right, let's get into some prayer and get this party started, folks. Father God, we thank you. We thank you for the opportunity to be here once again amongst family and friends, colleagues. We thank you for the opportunity of this blessing that each and every person that has been able to be a part of this will be able to receive, and not only bless themselves, but their families, their loved ones, their friends, people around the world, strangers, anybody and everyone that they choose to be of assistance to. They will have the resources, the financial resources to do so. And we are grateful that we're a part of being able to share this with each and every one of these beautiful people. We thank you for allowing us, Father, to be able to have the information, the knowledge, and the wisdom to be able to share with the people. We are just stewards. We are just your tools. And we thank you for allowing us to be a part of it. We thank you for choosing us to be in this situation. Oh, Father God, we thank you for each and every member that helps and shares with their family and friends this opportunity, but in a way in which those people that they share are able to duplicate the resources, to be able to duplicate the steps that we shared with them. And we thank you for that as well. And we give you all the honor, we give you all the glory in your precious name. We pray. Amen. All right, beautiful folks, quick announcements. Of course, the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room is now a read-only room. You can still, at any time of the day or night, go to the room and get the information that is still there, the history of the 8 steps, Wiley's golden nuggets that he shares, Goldilocks articles that's dropped into the room every single day. You can look back into the chat log. You can see how members that you've heard over and over again that have established relationships with the actual bankers, you can hear how they've done it. We have a syllabus where recorded calls that you can listen to, whether the links are in the room that you can listen to, and also, of course, to the daily podcast, Goldilocks Global Banking News. All right, folks. Then we have Dee's room, where Dee drops articles from around the country on what is happening regarding the global financial system. You can jump into her room as well. Then we have the crypto finance room, where Dave Rose Big Dog drops articles and has conversations related to crypto. All right. And then, of course, last but not least, Goldilocks Global Banking News, which is the daily podcast. We're now over 1.8 million views, over 80 countries around the world where people are tuning in. And these are countries that from where many of us have currencies as well. And folks, that is where you do not want to miss your daily podcast, especially now that the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room is a read-only room. We're no longer there giving you the guidance like we did for almost a year, daily, 8 hours a day. We did it. No longer. Now you must go to the Goldilocks Global Banking News, the daily podcast on YouTube, to get what Goldilocks is sharing on a daily basis so that you can get prepared and ready for the RV. All right, folks, tonight we have the amazing Peculiar Ram that's going to read the articles, and she is going to, of course, as she always does, bring the heat with her lovely voice and her humor, her knowledge. We're going to get it kicked off so that you can understand what is happening right in real time. And folks, let me tell you, the new digital banking system, you're going to see tonight how Iraq, Vietnam, and every other country, especially the U.S., is preparing for the new banking system that's actually already in place. The new banking system has been structured, prepared, built for new values on currencies, new values on assets such as gold, silver, real estate, any asset. The new banking system has been built for new values, which means new rates, because the old system does no longer exist. All right, folks.
I'm here.
How did you know
Oh,
us about that? How did you know us about the asteroid?
I
You ready,
felt
young
it in my
lady?
spirit.
You felt it in
Let's
your spirit?
go.
All right. I don't see Wiley, so we're going to jump right into it. I normally would come. And folks, let me just let you guys know, Freedom Fighter stands on the shoulders of two giants. One being Goldilocks, two being Wiley. I stand on their shoulders. They, way long before Freedom Fighter, Goldilocks and Wiley laid the groundwork, the path for the truth to be told to millions of people now throughout the world. I stand on their shoulders, and I'm grateful that God has blessed me to meet these beautiful folks. So again, I stand on their shoulders. I know you hear my voice consistently and all of that, but I am just a tool and a servant to the Almighty God, and I stand on the shoulders of the giants of Goldilocks and Wiley. So I wanted to make sure you all know that. All right, folks, let's get into this. And of course, you should all know by now what what the very, very first thing we're going to read, which is from April of 2024, the leaked article from the Trump administration, whereby it specifically and explicitly talks about Trump's goal for a currency revaluation when he was to return to office. Let's go right into it, Peculiar Rand.
Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for some members of a potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit,
To
said
the
one
trade
former
deficit. Mm-hmm.
said one
To the
former Trump administration official. Go ahead.
And folks, you're going to hear trade deficit several times tonight that Peculiar Ram is going to read from certain articles. Remember this trade deficit and weakening of the dollar. Remember that. Go, young lady.
Adding that Lighthizer and his team are the primary advocates for the approach. But weakening the dollar could have other far-reaching consequences, from sending consumer prices for imported products soaring to inviting retaliation from other countries and threatening the dollar's role as the world reserve currency, which would undermine U.S. sanctions on adversaries like Iran and Russia.
Folks, so understand, it's been Trump's goal once he returned to office for currency revaluation. How he was going to do it, how he was going to facilitate it, because of the trade deficit and the overvaluing of the dollar, over the overvalued dollar. and the trade deficit. Since the 80s, he's been talking about the issue with tariffs and the issue with the trade deficit of the U.S. and how the U.S. has been ripped off by all these countries from around the world. It took, and since the 80s, since he's been talking about this, so it has taken over 40 years to get to this point of where we're seeing currencies from around the world beginning to move as a result of the tariffs that Trump imposed. So we're seeing the residual effects. Now let's get right into Iraq. And remember, also, when Trump came into office, first week in January of his inauguration, it was about digital assets and the Digital Asset Task Force. You're going to hear about Iraq, Vietnam again this week about what they're doing to be in alignment with digital assets, because in the new digital banking system, it is digital assets, folks, that backs our currencies for the revaluation of all paper currencies. Digital. This is the new banking system. You're going to hear about it. In fact, let's get right into what Iraq just did this week, the meeting they just had to be in alignment with the new digital banking system. Go ahead, young lady.
The meeting between Mr. Ali Mohsen Al-Alaq, governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, and Mr. Titan Mitra, the new resident representative of the United Nations Development Program in Iraq, focused on enhancing cooperation in several key areas.
Mm-hmm.
They discussed technical advice and regulatory frameworks for e-commerce, emphasizing consumer protection and fostering a secure environment for Iraq's digital economy.
For Iraq's digital economy. This is a meeting that was in Iraq with the United Nations. Folks, Iraq has been working with the United Nations for several years and the International Monetary Fund in order to make sure they were in alignment with the global standards for the new digital banking system that is now live as of July the 1st. This is why and this is from the CBI. What Peculiar Ram is reading you. This is directly from the CBI on this meeting with the United Nations, specifically for Iraq's new digital economy, so that they can be in alignment with the new digital banking system, whereby digital assets will back our paper currencies, and therefore the revaluation of all assets, which includes currencies. Go ahead, young lady.
Governor Al-Alaq highlighted significant progress in digital transformation, particularly in reducing cash reliance for electronic transactions in trade and services.
Mm-hmm.
He also outlined the central bank's banking sector reform plan, including its collaboration with Oliver Wyman. Mr. Mitra commended the central bank's reform efforts and emphasized the importance of their partnership in strengthening Iraq's economic and commercial stability.
Boom. He also outlined the central bank's banking sector reform plan, including its collaboration with Oliver Wyman. Folks, Oliver Wyman is not an individual, it's not a person. Oliver Wyman is an international consulting firm. Of course, Peculiar Ram is very familiar with him. That's why she chuckled. So Oliver Wyman, folks, this international consulting firm, they're connected to the World Trade Organization. How? Oliver Wyman is also the World Trade Organization's consulting company for all of the countries that are members of the World Trade Organization. Oliver Wyman is it's a consulting firm. It's a private firm, but they are the eyes and the ears for the World Trade Organization as a conduit between the World Trade Organization and each country that are members of the World Trade Organization. So, for example, the World Trade Organization, they have certain guidelines for a country to become a member of the World Trade Organization. Let's use China as an example. China they're a member of the World Trade Organization. China doesn't go directly to the World Trade Organization to get guidance and assistance to become in alignment with the World Trade Organization. China goes through Oliver Wyman. That's what they did years ago in order to become members of the World Trade Organization. So various countries that are members of the World Trade Organization, they had to deal with a intermediary in order to meet the international requirements to become a member of the World Trade Organization. So you see, which is Oliver Wyman, the international consulting company. So where you have Iraq, that's been working very closely with the international consulting firm Oliver Wyman, is because Oliver Wyman is basically the mouthpiece for the World Trade Organization. So I want you to understand the dynamics. So when you see here the Central Bank of Iraq and their reform plan, including its collaboration, meaning they're working side by side with Oliver Wyman, is because they're making sure that they're in alignment with the World Trade Organization standards for Iraq, just so that you understand it. And you hear and you see that Iraq has been working with Oliver Wyman to make sure that Iraq is in alignment with the new digital economy, not just the economy of Iraq, but the digital economy, the new global digital economy. So understand that. Now we're going to go right into Vietnam. Does this all make sense to you? I was about to call you Vietnam. Peculiar man.
Yes, it does.
Especially after all of the various calls where you read the updates with Oliver Wyman. Now it all makes even more sense to you, I'm sure, to see the connections of what's happening with Iraq. Oliver Wyman.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They've been consistent, and it's been consistent with the receipts that we've been shown for the past year.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So now, folks, that's Iraq. The digital economy, the collaboration and the close working with the actual international consulting firm that is the international consulting firm for the World Trade Organization. That's from the CBI this week. Now, let's go right into Vietnam and their latest update. Now, Vietnam, here we are again. We're going to see doing the same thing. So we have Iraq and the dinar. Now let's get into the dong in Vietnam. Go, young lady.
Vietnam is working to upgrade its own stock market to emerging market status and enhance global integration, according to VCSL.VN. Vietnam is in the process of upgrading its stock exchange infrastructure and processes, including trialing new technology and implementing reforms to attract more foreign investment, says T. Rowe Price. The goal is to be reclassified from a frontier market to an emerging market, not to move its national stock exchange to the NASDAQ, a US-based exchange.
Okay, 1 second, beloved. This is very important. So, folks, what Goldilocks is sharing, and this is directly from the articles, Vietnam's goal is not to move its stock exchange, meaning move it into the NASDAQ, of course, which we know is a global stock exchange, billions daily traded. What Vietnam wants to do is to have international companies have access to Vietnam's stock exchange, but also for Vietnam to be able to open its stock exchange and connect it to other countries' stock exchange. We're going to touch on, you're going to see that here shortly. And what this means especially from Vietnam being upgraded with its anticipation from a frontier market to an emerging market. This is a graduation from Vietnam's stock market from grade level D to an A, which would give the Vietnamese dong more global access, the access to the dong that has never been done before, access for international exchanges like NASDAQ, like the New York Stock Exchange, like the London Stock Exchange, so forth and so on, who will all be able to have access and trade billions and sometimes even in the trillions daily. You're going to see here in a little bit where they'll only be able to do this in the Vietnamese dong. Only. We'll get to that in a little bit. Good, young lady.
Key developments in Vietnam stock market. MSCI upgrade potential. Vietnam is a major component of the MSCI Frontier Markets Index and is working towards being reclassified as an emerging market.
1 second, beloved. Folks, the MSCI is the Morgan Stanley Compu Index, calculating index. So just so that you are aware of what the MSCI is, Vietnam, if they, which most likely will be upgraded next year to the Morgan Stanley Composite Index, MSCI, that is another, that would take them from A being upgraded to from the FTSE Russell's emerging market for their stock market, which is anticipated to be on October the 7th. That would move the Vietnamese dong from a D to an A. That means the dong would have more access in the global exchanges. That means there will be more demand on the Vietnamese dong. And we know the more demand on the currency, the more higher the value. Then next year, the Morgan Stanley Composite Index, the MSCI, is expected to also upgrade them from a frontier to an emerging market status. That'll take them to A+. That will give another bump in the Vietnamese dong. This is why Goldilocks has been consistently stating and showing that floats will happen to the Vietnamese dong over the next 3 to 5 years because of the consistent upgrades that are anticipated to the Vietnamese dong. Go ahead, young lady.
Technological upgrades. Oh gosh.
the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange. Go ahead.
Okay. It's collaborating with the Korea Exchange to trial a new system intended to upgrade market infrastructure.
And just so that you all know, this went live in Vietnam, this new stock exchange. The Korea Exchange, and we reported on this several weeks ago, already went live in Vietnam. This gives them the dong, more access to the Asian stock exchange. Think of the equivalent of the New York Stock Exchange, but in Asia. That's the Korean Stock Exchange. So this is another they've already prepared. And actually, just so that you are aware, one of the requirements for Vietnam to be upgraded to an emerging market status by the FTSE Russell was to allow a new stock exchange into Vietnam to give them international access. That's what happened with the Korean Stock Exchange, the KRX, which already happened several months ago. It's already operating, already moving. It was one of the requirements for them to have their stock market to be upgraded by the FTSE Russell, again, which is anticipated on October the 7th. We still await and see. Go, young lady. Regulatory reforms.
Regulatory reforms. Vietnam is implementing measures to improve liquidity and flexibility, such as pre-funding solution for investors.
Boom. 1 second, beloved. This was another requirement for Vietnam stock market to be upgraded by the FTSE Russell. Literally, folks, the FTSE Russell told Vietnam, based on an analysis last year, 2024, there were 9 requirements Vietnam had in order to be upgraded. Vietnam tried to have their stock market upgraded to emerging market status ever since 2018. As of last year, 2024, September, there were 9 requirements that the FTSE Russell said, Vietnam, you must meet these 9 requirements for us to upgrade your stock market to emerging market and have the Vietnamese dong go boom all over the world. Vietnam met 7 of those 9. Since then, since September 2024, the last remaining 2 were the last 2 that Peculiar Ram just read. Stock market, KRX, to have access, and also for the pre-funding solution. Pre-funding means before, for investors to invest into Vietnam, investors had to prove they had the money up front to Vietnam's little itty bitty stock market. They said, okay, they would say, Vietnam, we got 10 billion. We can prove it to you. Here's our proof. Now there's no pre-funding solution. So investors don't have to prove to Vietnam up front that they have the money to invest, because the new digital system in Vietnam allows instant access for Vietnam to already see that the investors have the money. So there's no pre-funding requirement. It's like, it would be the equivalent, folks, if you wanted to buy a home that's $500,000 and the bank says you got to show us you got $500,000 in the bank already to prove that you can pay for it. That's what Vietnam had as a requirement for investors. I'm talking about your big bad international investors that are out there, that are investors that they invest billions, trillions daily. Vietnam says, we don't care. You got to show us that you got the money up front. That's what so therefore the investors, they didn't want to invest in Vietnam.
Right.
They were like, if I got to prove to you that we got the money.
It's when like a secured versus unsecured credit card.
That's what it's like. Like. It was like Vietnam was saying, and actually Vietnam called it an international restriction, to where it was literally like a secured credit card. Put the money up front and then we'll give you credit.
Wow.
And these are A-rated multi-billion-dollar establishments that Vietnam told them they had to do this. But the FTSE Russell were saying, how are we going to give you access to the international markets? These investors don't want to do business with you, Vietnam, because you're telling them that they got to show the money up front. So when it says Vietnam is implementing measures to improve liquidity and flexibility, such as a pre-funding solution for investors, they removed this pre-funding solution. And actually, a part of the 34, when Vietnam's Congress, it's called the National Assembly, had 45 days of laws that they passed in session several months ago. One of them was they passed a law to remove the pre-funding solution, because that was a requirement by the FTSE Russell to upgrade Vietnam's stock market to an emerging market. So they removed the last 2 remaining restrictions or stumbling blocks. FYI. Go ahead, young lady.
Increased foreign interest. These structural and regulatory changes are expected to attract greater foreign investment into the Vietnamese stock market. Vietnam Stock Exchange is also collaborating with other global exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange and London Stock Exchange to better integrate into the global financial system.
Very key. Vietnam Stock Exchange is also collaborating with other global exchanges. So this is the link. So when you hear this, You have to understand and know that with Vietnam connecting their stock exchange to the New York Stock Exchange and the London Stock Exchange, folks, this integrates not just Vietnam, the country, into global financial systems, but the Vietnamese dong into global financial systems through the New York Stock Exchange, Global Exchange, through the London Exchange, Global Exchange. This gives access of the Vietnamese dong electronically to international financial institutions and investors that never happened before. So the dong now will have more access, therefore the demand for the dong will go up as well. Now we're going to read this next screenshot, which is from one of the links that Goldilocks shared, which touches on this. If you can read that, the whole thing, if you don't mind, beloved, appreciate it.
Yes. As a result, average daily trading volume has surged to 860 million securities and 19 trillion VND, compared to just 55,000 units and 1.4 billion VND in 2000.
So just think about the growth of Vietnam's stock market from the year 2000, trading only 1.4 billion in dong to now 19 trillion. But the Vietnamese dong is still the same rate. That is because the Vietnamese government has consistently devalued the dong because they didn't have to use the dong in trade, and not just trade on the water. They didn't have to use the Vietnamese dong as much in their stock exchange. They used the US dollar. But we're going to see here shortly that it's flipped. It's going to flip, meaning from using the US dollar to using the Vietnamese dong. Go, young lady.
Vietnam's stock market may soon be upgraded from frontier to emerging market status, a move expected to attract significant foreign inflows. Hose ongoing.
Which stands for this. That's the name of their stock market, folks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hose.
Ho's ongoing collaboration with global exchanges such as the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, and Korea Stock Exchange positions it well to integrate further into the global financial system.
Which would integrate, folks, the Vietnamese dong further into the global financial system because of the access that all of these global stock exchanges will have access to the Vietnamese dong with no restrictions, unlike before. Go ahead.
Hose is a founding member of the, is it an acronym?
The ASEAN
ASEAN.
exchanges.
Oh, okay. ASEAN Exchanges Initiative, and actively participates in international bodies like the World Federation of Exchanges and the Asian and Oceanian Stock Exchanges Federation. I'm struggling.
Sorry, you're good.
These ties not only elevate its global standing, but also support Vietnam's ambition to become a regional financial center.
And folks, the ASEAN, I'm sorry, 1 second, beloved. ASEAN, that's an
I was going to
acronym.
call it a Sean.
Right. So, folks, this is all of the Asian countries that are all a part of a global exchange. That's China. It's the Philippines. It's Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam. All the Asian countries are all part of this. And actually, Vietnam has now surpassed all of those Asian countries in volume for exchanges.
Wow.
Go ahead, young lady.
With 25 years of solid foundation and the collective resolve of all stakeholders, I am confident Vietnam's capital market will soon attain emerging market status and continue to grow sustainably, transparently, and inclusively, Fang said.
Just imagine that. Just imagine his name is Thang, but here in the U.S. we might not say Thing. We might say Thang. Like Thang said, what that thing said.
We might say bat that thing up. What Juvenile said?
Lord have mercy.
Okay.
It's so silly. All right, folks. Now we're going to get into this pilot program that Vietnam just launched as well for the remember, President Trump came into office in January for digital assets. Pushed digital assets, got it right into law with the Genius Act, the Crypto Clarity Act. Here we have Vietnam with their digital trading following right in line as well. Iraq, same thing as well. Let's look what Vietnam just did and think. And when you hear these numbers, think of the access of the Vietnamese dong into the international, same thing. I'm just saying it twice differently, just in case someone doesn't know what international means. In the international markets with the access that the dong has never had before. Go ahead.
Vietnam's pilot program for regulated cryptocurrency trading is active as of September 10th, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
The program was officially launched on September 9th, 2025 through resolution number 5-2025-NQ-CP, signed by Deputy Prime Minister
Hold the
Fuck.
There you go. Good job.
I'm country, y'all, so please excuse me. It establishes a 5-year framework for issuing, trading, and settling crypto assets exclusively in Vietnamese dong.
Okay, see that. Can you read that last part?
Yeah.
One more time.
It establishes a 5-year framework for issuing, trading, and settling crypto assets exclusively in the Vietnamese dong.
The crypto assets. So it establishes a 5-year framework, which started on September the 9th, September the 10th, in crypto assets, which is digital assets, to settle these transactions, which are daily, folks, exclusively in the Vietnamese dong. This is where the restrictions were removed. Go ahead, young lady.
With strict requirements like a minimum 10 trillion VND capital for licensed platforms, 51% domestic ownership, and mandatory AML/KYC
compliance. Which AML is anti-money laundering and KYC is know your customer. These are the same international standards that are in the U.S. banking system. All of us that have bank accounts in the U.S., we had to go. You may not even realize it, but as long as you opened a bank account, as long as you established a relationship with a banker at a wealth management firm, you went through this AML, KYC, anti-money laundering, and know your customer compliance. It was all done electronically. Vietnam doing the same thing. Just imagine for investors that want to now invest in Vietnam through this pilot program in their stock market must come to the table with a minimum of 10 trillion dong, which is 379 million US. So this is not Joe Blow behind the dumpster coming to Vietnam to invest. No, these is real major players in Vietnam. Go ahead, young lady.
This builds on the Digital Technology Industry Law passed on June 2025, which recognizes crypto assets effective January 2026, but allows the pilot to test the market immediately.
Which means that the exclusive trading in Vietnamese dong, although this is a 5-year pilot program, it will begin effective immediately as of September the 10th in trading in their banking system in Vietnam, in their exchange. Go ahead, young lady.
The initiative aims to formalize Vietnam's high crypto adoption, ranking fourth globally in 2025 with over 17 million holders and over $100 billion in assets, while curbing unlicensed trading with a 6-month grace period post first license issuance.
So just think, folks, Vietnam ranks fourth in the world with crypto owners, crypto holders, 17 million. Folks, just think, in little Vietnam,
How they been? That's crazy.
They have been there. In fact, in the year 2000, they only had, if my memory serves me correctly from the articles I saw, they only had about 5,000 crypto investors in Vietnam in the year 2000. Now 17 million, ranked fourth in the world. These crypto holders will now, all of their investments will strictly be in the Vietnamese dong. So Vietnam, just think, as small as Vietnam is, they rank fourth in the world in crypto adoption. This is the digital assets, folks, that President Trump here in the U.S. had his administration, well, not just his administration, Congress passed the laws for digital assets. Crypto adoption is digital asset adoption. Vietnam passed up major countries in size, and their currency is still at the value it is. They did a hell of a job devaluing the dong so they could make all that money in the back end in Vietnam. They did that. If any country, if they wanted to learn how to milk the global system and make a hell of a lot of money in their own country, all they got to do is follow what Vietnam did in the last 50 plus years. The only difference between then and now they're moving into the new digital banking system. Manipulation of a currency cannot exist because of the digital banking system and artificial intelligence. The technology automatically, that's why it's called automated. The currency values and all assets will be automated in the new digital banking system. Human manipulation goes out the window because it'll be automated. Everything will be automated. Good, young lady.
This program is unlikely to negatively affect the VND's price and could even support its stability. By mandating all crypto transactions, issuance, trading, and payments in the VND, the framework channels previously informal or offshore activity into the local economy, potentially increasing VND demand and reducing capital flight.
So what Goldilocks is sharing here, 1 second, beloved, is how previously all the payments, the daily trading in billions of dollars, they just use any other currency, which mainly was the US dollar because it was the strongest currency. Now, by their own laws, they can only use the Vietnamese dong moving forward in these billions of dollars in transactions. Go ahead, young lady.
It also promotes VND settlements to bolster the currency's role in fintech, aligning with Vietnam's broader digital economy goals. While unregulated crypto has raised concerns about financial risks, scams, and volatility, for example, the pilot's emphasis on oversight and real asset backing for tokens minimizes systemic threats to monetary policy. No immediate depreciation pressures are evident from the rollout, and it may enhance investor confidence, indirectly aiding VND through economic growth. A digital Forex platform can change prices during a testing period, and traders should expect to encounter differences between a demo testing account and live trading.
A digital Forex platform can change prices during a testing period. Folks, this is because because on Forex, everything is going digital, just like Forex. This is where everything, including rates, will be automated based on supply and demand. This is whereby the floats in real numbers will begin to accumulate in the Forex market. Now, what Peculiar Ram is going to read is also from one of the articles up top, the last one by Goldilocks, shows how all of these transactions will strictly be moving forward now in the Vietnamese dong. So think of the dong, the demand for the dong and usage of the dong. Folks, this is just only one way that the dong will go up through their stock market. This is just only one way. This is not talking about the FTSE Russell upgrade of the Vietnamese dong in their stock market. This is something totally different. This is more ways. Good young lady.
Vietnam is finally putting rules on the table. The government has approved a 5-year crypto trading pilot, locking in what 17 million Vietnamese have already been doing behind the scenes.
They're coming out the closet.
Basically.
17 million investors who have been investing in their little stock market in the US dollar and other currencies will now come out the closet and only use the Vietnamese dong. That's just those 17 million.
Wow.
That doesn't include the other millions of investors that will flock into Vietnam's economy once their stock market is upgraded by the FTSE Russell as anticipated. This number may be doubled from 17 million to double or even quadrupled because it's global. They have global access. These 17 million are in Vietnam. It doesn't account for investors throughout the world that will have access if they're upgraded to the FTSE Russell stock market. Go ahead, young lady.
Wow. Per a statement on the government website, this is a full-scale, government-backed push into regulated crypto trading after years of operating in the dark.
Coming out to the light.
Mm-hmm. Every exchange under this trial must be Vietnamese owned. No foreign company is allowed to run platforms. Issuing, trading, and paying for all crypto must all happen in the Vietnamese dong. Only Vietnamese companies can issue crypto assets, and even then, they can only offer them to foreign investors. Locals can trade, but they can't issue.
Boom. They are coming out the dark.
They are.
Oh.
Wow.
Now we're going to get to see what we heard what Iraq is doing. We heard what Vietnam is doing. Coming out the dark on the new digital banking system. Access millions to the dong, to the dinar. Now let's look what the U.S. is doing. Go, young lady.
For the United States to be an importer of silver means that domestic demand for silver exceeds the country's own production, requiring it to purchase silver from other countries to meet its needs. This status has several implications for the economy and market. Economic implications. Balance of trade. A large silver trade deficit contributes to the overall U.S. trade deficit, as the country sends more money abroad for silver purchases than it receives for its own silver exports.
1 second, beloved. So she just read to you folks to pay attention because we know it's going to be precious metals and commodities that back our currencies for the RV such as gold, such as silver, and where she just read that balance of trade, a large silver trade deficit contributes to the overall U.S. trade deficit. And just as a reminder, as the article from the Trump administration leak says, currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for some members of the potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar contributes to the what?
Trade deficit.
You see how this keeps coming up, folks? You see the alignment of how the RV happens? Trade deficit. Now we see silver is moving. You're going to see how countries are going to be moving away from the US dollar and why into their own currencies, which will boost the value of the Vietnamese dong, boost the value of the Iraqi dinar and all the other currencies, because these countries will no longer be using the US dollar. Go ahead, young lady.
Let me skip on down to currency implications. Or do you want me to read the bold?
Read the bold.
Okay. So we did balance of trade. We have price effects, industrial impact, supply chain reliance, investor demand, market volatility,
and then currency implications.
In some contexts, a large trade deficit can put downward pressure on a country's currency relative to those of its trading partners. However, for a major global currency like the US dollar, this effect is often limited for a single commodity like silver. The US is already a significant importer of silver, with a large trade deficit for the metal. Nice.
Now, actually, I actually pushed into the same one. Now, we will get an understanding of. Actually, that was the right one. Now we're going to get even a better understanding of the U.S. and silver and how it affects currency exchange rates. Go, young lady.
Okay. The United States, being a net importer of silver, means it purchases more silver from foreign countries than it exports, which can influence foreign currency exchange rates through trade dynamics and balance of payments effects. Here's how.
Read all
Number
of this.
one. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. No, you could read all of this. This is going to break it down of how currencies, another way, and how silver is connected to the currency revaluations.
Number one, increased demand for foreign currency. To pay for silver imports, U.S. buyers need to purchase foreign currencies. Example, Mexican pesos for silver from Mexico, a major producer.
1 second, beloved. This is very important, folks. Now, just think, Goldilocks is only stating the Mexican peso as an example. Increased demand for foreign currency, which means that other countries and their currencies, a la dong, a la dinar, and others, the demand for their currencies will go up. Why? Because to pay for silver imports, U.S. buyers need to purchase foreign currencies, for example, like the Mexican peso and others, which are major producers of silver. Go ahead.
This increases demand for those currencies, potentially appreciating their value relative to the U.S. dollar. Conversely, the USD may weaken if the demand for foreign currency outpaces other factors.
Very important. The USD will get weaker if other foreign currencies outweigh other factors. But weakening of the dollar, the Trump administration says, could have far-reaching consequences. You see how trade deficit, weakening of the dollar, all aligns to currency revaluation. We are witnessing the organic, and this all came from Trump imposing tariffs on all of these countries. You don't think he knew what he was doing in order to create the currency revaluation with tariffs? Go, young
What a
lady.
domino effect.
Very much so, domino effect. I love that analogy. That's exactly what it is. Go ahead.
Number 2, trade balance in current account. Importing silver contributes to a trade deficit if not offset by exports.
So importing silver contributes to a trade deficit. Again,
Who
currency
knew?
value. Trump's goal was a currency evaluation because of the trade deficit. And here we go. More ways. Go ahead, young lady. A larger trade deficit can.
A larger trade deficit can put downward pressure on the USD as more dollars flow out to pay for imports, increasing the supply of USD in foreign exchange markets.
Increasing the supply, folks, in USD means there's more USD out there. Why? Because these countries will not be utilizing it. They'll be using their own currencies. So there's demand for their own currencies. So instead of using the US dollar to buy silver, they're going to use their own currencies. Why would they use the US dollar to buy a commodity like silver when the US dollar is going down? The US dollar is getting weaker. They're not going to use the US dollar anymore to buy a commodity like silver because the US dollar is getting weaker. What they'll do is use their own currencies because their own currencies are going up in demand because they're utilizing their own currencies more in global trade versus utilizing the weakening US dollar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, young lady.
Do you want me to go to number 3 or skip down to number 5?
Yeah, let's go 3. You can read 3 through 5. Go ahead, read them all.
Okay. Capital flows and investment. If silver imports are significant, they may attract foreign investment into the U.S. For example, foreign silver producers holding USD or investing in U.S. assets. This could increase demand for the USD, potentially strengthening it, though this effect is typically secondary for commodity imports like silver. Number 4, market size and impact. Silver is a relatively small market compared to major commodities like oil. In 2023, U.S. silver imports were valued at around $3.5 billion, minor compared to total trade flows. Thus, silver imports alone are unlikely to significantly move exchange rates unless accompanied by broader trade or economic shifts.
Which we see happening already. We're broader shifts that are happening already.
Number 5, global silver prices and currency effects. Silver prices are quoted in USD globally. If the USD weakens due to trade deficits or other factors, foreign producers may demand higher USD prices for silver, increasing import costs and potentially amplifying trade imbalances, further affecting exchange rates.
Now, this is very, very important. I'm going to read the previous leak from the Trump administration, and then I'm going to ask you to read what you just read one more time after I read this. From April 2024, folks, from the Trump administration, listen, there's key words. Listen to trade deficit and weakening of the dollar. It says currency revaluation, and I'm going to beat this in y'all heads over and over and over and over again. You know how when you was a little baby and your mother or your father told you to do something and you had a hard head and they kept tapping in your head to say tap, 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 till you get it. I'm going to tap, 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 tap in your head till you get it and understand where the RV comes from. Currency revaluation is likely to be priority for some members of a potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit, said one former Trump administration official, adding that Lighthizer and his team are the primary advocates for this approach, but weakening the dollar could have an other far-reaching consequence. So we have a problem and we have a solution. The problem that the Trump administration was saying is the trade deficit. What's the solution? Weaken the dollar so that these countries don't rely on our US dollar and they continue to devalue their currencies, because what they were doing is utilizing the US dollar majorly in trade, which caused a trade deficit where these countries, for example, a la Vietnam, that had a $123 billion trade surplus with the U.S. last year, and the U.S. had a $123 billion trade deficit with Vietnam. Well, Vietnam was using the U.S. dollar for all those trades. So the U.S., Trump says, okay, well, let's hit all these countries with tariffs, which will weaken the dollar. So now Vietnam and the rest of these countries will be like, why are we going to use that weakening piece of paper called the greenback? The US dollar. So the demand for the US dollar is going down because it's getting weaker. Not because, boom, a flip of the switch and Trump says, oh, let's weaken the dollar. It don't work like that. He implemented measures that would organically weaken the dollar, which is called tariffs on these countries. So as a result of the tariffs, these countries say, look, it don't make no sense for us to continue utilizing the US dollar in our trade and weakening our own currencies, because the US dollar is just as bad as our own currency. So they said, well, why don't we just go ahead and use our own currency? Let's use the dong. I said dong. It sounded like I said dong. Let's use the dong for our own currency, for our own trade. And all these countries said, well, why will we continue to use a weakening currency called the US dollar? And in the new digital banking system, they already knew years in advance, folks, going into a new digital banking system where digital assets will back our currencies in the new digital banking system. Digital assets will back their currencies in the new digital banking systems. Their currencies will now have the strength of these digital assets called cryptocurrencies, called stable coins, called tokenization, the digitizing of gold, silver, and other commodities. They said, oh, we can have our sovereignty back. We can use our own currency now in trade instead of utilizing that old weak, that old desolate US dollar that we've been using for all these years. So now organically, the value of their currencies begin to go up because the demand for their currencies go up. And especially with like now Vietnam and their stock market most likely being upgraded. And now the demand will go up for the dong because the access of the dong goes up and the usage of the dong goes up. And like Goldilocks showed directly from the actual sources, that how currency values move is through supply and demand. So the demand of the dong will go up. The demand for the dinar and other currencies will go up. This is why Iraq is now going to a digital banking system, because they had to be in alignment with the new global digital banking system, so that countries around the world will now be able to have access to the economy of Iraq electronically through the new digital banking system. Go, young lady.
You want me to reread number 5?
Please do.
Okay.
Because we did trade deficit and weakening the dollar. Go ahead.
Global silver prices and currency effects. Silver prices are quoted in USD globally. If the USD weakens due to trade deficits or other factors, foreign producers may demand higher USD prices for silver, increasing import costs and potentially amplifying trade imbalances, further affecting exchange rates. I
Why
sounded
would this?
British for a second.
You did that. Why would this affect? Why would this affect currency exchange rate, folks? Because foreign producers may demand higher USD prices for silver. If they demand higher US dollar prices for silver, people won't buy silver in USD. They'll buy it in their own currencies, increasing their imports and potentially amplifying their trade imbalances, further affecting exchange rates. The exchange rates will be affected because these countries will not use the US dollar to buy silver anymore. They'll use their own currencies. Therefore, the value of their currencies will be affected, and the exchange rates of their currencies will be affected because the demand and the usage of their currencies will be greater than before, because before they were buying silver in USD, not in dong, not in dinar, not in any other currency. It was USD only. But because the USD is getting weaker, these countries are saying, no, thank you. We will not use the US dollar.
So
No,
they
mom.
switched it up.
Huh?
So they switched up quick, huh?
Had to, because it would cost them more to buy silver in USD because the USD is getting weaker. With their currencies are getting stronger. So why not use their own currencies to buy
Facts.
silver?
Facts.
Good young lady. In summary,
In summary, U.S. silver imports increase demand for foreign currencies and contribute to trade deficits, which can weaken the USD relative to other currencies. However, the impact is typically modest due to the small scale of the silver market.
mhm,
Exchange rate effects depend on broader economic factors, including overall trade balances, monetary policy, and global demand for the USD.
mhm. Exchange rate effects depend on broader economic factors, including overall trade balances. This is where the trade deficit that the Trump administration said was an issue. This was how Trump would utilize trade deficit as a conduit to make sure that there's a currency revaluation and weaken the dollar in global trade so that countries will have no other alternative but to use their own currencies, and not only global trade, but the buying of silver and other. So this is how the U.S. prepares for the global currency reset. Not, folks, for the U.S. only, but Trump knew exactly what he was doing by imposing these tariffs on all of these countries throughout the globe, which would force these global countries and their global currencies to revalue because the demand for their currencies will go up by no longer utilizing the US dollar for trade, the purchasing of silver and other commodities, and so forth and so on. Just like Vietnam and their stock market no longer using the US dollar, but strictly only utilizing the Vietnamese dong in their stock market trades daily and exchanges daily in the Vietnamese dong. Supply and demand. So here we have exchange rate effects depend on broader economic factors, including overall trade balances, monetary policy, and global demand for the US dollar. Folks, the global demand for the US dollar is going down because it's getting weaker.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of the US dollar getting weaker, other currencies are getting stronger because the demand for those currencies are going up globally. Is that all? I was about to ask you a rhetorical question, like ask you, does it make sense? I know it makes sense to you, young lady.
Absolutely. The dominoes are falling just as they should be. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
start off with like one path of the dominoes, and then you get this whole elaborate, nice looking, domino field, and I've seen people on different videos. They have the dominoes going up on a table, down on the floor, but they're all different paths and they lead to one final domino fall, and that's the
Yes.
RV. And so I
Yes.
love seeing the different routes, the routes that it's taken, but all the dominoes are falling into one RV bowl, my little RV
Right.
bowl.
Right.
They
Right.
all have one destination, but to see it all kind of um, collaborating together as in reference to the trade deficit, because we did see
Exactly.
that keep coming up tonight. So it's
Yeah.
all relative to, like you said, the trade deficit.
Yes, exactly. And it came up so many times tonight because this is how Trump's initiative to initiate the currency revaluation, and as we saw and we've been seeing in writing, is to utilize the trade deficit, which comes from, folks, an overvalued dollar contributed to the trade deficit.
Yes, my good Lord.
So how does the currency revaluation come? We got to flip it from an overvalued dollar to a weaker dollar.
Hmm?
And we see it happen. What I would like for and folks, there is something called edit. So if we have to delete, so I would love for some of our tribe members who been following along, who would maybe want to summarize what you heard tonight, such as our sniper or any of our other tribe members. If you can raise your hand, we will come to you, and we got some time. I always love snipers summary, or any of the other so beautiful tribe members. If you want to summarize what you heard tonight, raise your hand. I will come to you. It'll be good to hear your voice as well. Since with room is read only, we haven't heard your voices in such a long time. So if you would like to, go ahead, raise your hand. If you show.
Hi guys, don't get quiet now.
Right.
Where's Lady Unique?
Oh, I didn't see.
Lady Unique, I see you. Raise your hand.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the queen.
I see her right here. She's on. She might not
She might. Yeah, she probably. I know she's been spending a lot of time with her mom lately.
Oh, okay. Well, we love you, Lady Unique.
Yes. Okay, I just got snipers with his family. Okay, sniper, I see you. Okay. But lemonade, you raise your hand. You want to add a quick summary to what you heard tonight? Go ahead and unmute lemonade clan. Lemonade clan, if you could unmute.
Tracy is raising their hand.
I don't recognize that name.
Me either.
So I said, all right. So lemonade, you might have been an accident. All right, cool. I don't want no one raising the hand and then come on the call and then it be something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. A man, a few words. Our beautiful, amazing tribe member. And folks, this young man, I don't want to put his business out there. You can unmute a man, a few words.
Good evening.
Good evening, young man. Folks, this young man right here, I'm gonna say this.
Say what you gotta say.
Okay. They ain't gonna know who you are. But this young man is the young man for last Saturday's call, or was it the Saturday before? My brain is a little fried. For the international firm that invited him to a call, where on that call, this international wealth management firm specifically talked about, well, it was a newsletter, and I'm not sure you got yours, where this firm.
I got yesterday.
Okay, got yesterday. This firm now encouraging their clients to get on board to invest in foreign currencies. This is the young man who shared his little inside information from his international banking firm. Is that right or wrong? Did I get it right, young man?
You got it right. And the amazing thing about the article, he read it, and he may not have no clue about it before that article, but now he does.
When you say he, you're talking about who?
My wealth manager.
Ah, okay. Got it. Now he knows. Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So all this information I heard tonight, stock up on your dong and stock up on your silver. That's all I got to say.
Hold on. You must have gotten an update after the update that you shared with me last week? Or was that inclusive?
Well,
it was all inclusive of that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. Okay, so that part you weren't able to share in DM that you got from them. Now you're sharing it verbally.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So now from tonight's articles by Goldilocks and everything you just heard from Iraq, from Vietnam, and now and globally from the US, so on and so on. What's your summary? What's your take on all this? Go ahead, young man.
Well, my summary is I can quit once I exchange. I can stop messing with dong. I mean, poo. So
yeah. You can stop messing with dung.
That's right.
Dong.
But you can stop messing with dung because of dong.
That's right.
For those that don't know, a man of few words is in the dung business. He in the waste management business. So you're aware of why we're saying dung or sugar honey iced tea. He's in the sugar honey iced tea business. So that's why.
Very lucrative, I hear.
Very lucrative. Yeah. He's a busy man out there. So yeah, that's awesome. That is
good
awesome.
to hear from you, grateful one.
This dialogue is going to be early done, hopefully, so I can go to bed. So
you're yes. We're going to be.
Thank you for all you do.
You're welcome, beloved. Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
All right, appreciate you. Yes.
I want to go to bed.
Yeah, he want to go to bed. He's tired.
Sleeping dog emoji meme now. For grateful.
Right. Awesome. All right, beautiful folks. And I don't want to leave you out, Lemonade. If you really intended to raise your hand, I want to make sure I acknowledge you. But if not, then that might have been. If you want unmute, you're good. If not, that's understandable because it looks like it might have been an accident. But it's amazing because a man of few words in the newsletter that his wealth management firm, and that's why he said what he said tonight. Dong, silver, and folks, other major wealth management firms are sharing a lot of detailed information about what's coming. And if you have not established your relationships, folks, I feel very, very sorry for you. It's going to be a total different scenario for many of you when the time comes, and if you don't already have a relationship established. So it's very important. It's incumbent upon you to make sure that you have those relationships established with your plans in place. I know we stressed this a lot before the room went to read only. We're going to stress the importance of it until we're gone, because we will be remiss if we didn't tell you the importance of it.
It's your greatest advantage in this investment.
Yes.
Absolute greatest advantage.
Are you able to share anything from your latest newsletter?
I will say that there is a lot more green in the charts that there have been from their 6 month to 1 year outlook. They were kind of I would say moderate when it came to emerging markets and emerging countries. But
Uh-huh.
now it's leaning more from moderate to more to green.
Mhm. And
Um,
what that means, go ahead.
no, I mean, I'm just saying for investors, almost like what
Yes.
Grateful One was saying, kind of,
Hmm.
I'm assuming is in alignment with what his wealth manager was seeing. They're seeing green.
Hmm. And you all know, just in case if you don't, in green in the charts means appreciation, upward movement, folks, in values. If it was in red, quite naturally, that means depreciation in values of these assets. But what Peculiar Rand was saying in the previous charts, it was showing moderate, meaning sort of a flat line, if you will,
Yeah.
showing in the charts. But it could either be flat line, meaning no movement, green meaning movement up in value, red meaning downward movement in value. She's showing green.
And
Her
when it
her
comes to investing, I mean, reading between the lines, they're basically telling you what to invest in as one of
Mhm.
their clients, what would be
Right,
lucrative in a 6 month to 1 year time frame from what they can see,
right.
the
And folks,
banker's
just
standpoint.
exactly what the bankers see. And folks, just so you're aware, these investment firms, these wealth management firms cannot it is illegal for them to tell a client what to invest in. Saying, hey, invest in this specifically, invest in that specifically. They can put it out there for you to see it and say, we suggesting this is why, but we
Mhm.
can't make you. They can't make people invest in something. But what they can do is whet your appetite enough through data to show you what is happening and say, hey, if you would like to, here is what we think might be a good area to invest in, and this is why. If you say, okay, let's go, then they say, smart choice. That's why we told you.
They use the word optimistic.
Yes, they use coded words because they
Yeah.
can't just come out and say, this is what you better do.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful, amazing Arliss, we saw your hand up. You can unmute, my good lady.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you doing?
Good, good. How you doing, my beautiful friend?
Good, doing good over here. I just wanted to let you guys
Awesome.
know I was thinking about it, and our private wealth manager is one of the top firms. And
Yes. Is
after
that one big one that you're talking about? That you
Yes, sir.
shared with me? Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. After the beginning of the year, after Christmas, when I got my first email from them and I was becoming acquainted with how the emails came in and what to look for, one of the
Mhm.
articles that I read in there, they announced at the beginning of the year that they were shifting to all foreign investments at that time because of what they were expecting to transpire with the US dollar in 2025. So
Mhm.
we knew back in January that that's what
Mhm.
our firm was going to do. And,
Mhm.
having being new to it, I remember reading it and looking at my husband and saying, they're already telling us they're shifting
Yep.
everything toward foreign investments
Yep.
at that time.
At that
So
time.
at that time, yes.
Because they
Hmm.
see what Alice is sharing with you, her firm and these other firms, they see in advance, months and months in advance, what's going to happen in the value and the rates of various assets before the public knows.
Hmm. And I really, really appreciated everything that you covered tonight. I've been out of the loop for a couple of weeks, but
Mhm.
jumped back in this
Yeah.
evening, and I really appreciated, the clarification with what's going on in Iraq and Vietnam, but also the silver and the cryptocurrencies, because we
Mhm.
do have a little bit of all of it. And just like Peculiar Ram said,
Mhm.
I always say the picture is painted clearer and clearer all the time. She uses the analogy of dominoes, which works too, but it's
Mhm.
you can see it clearer and clearer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
the multitude of parts all coming together,
Mhm.
and knowing that the FTSE Russell is
Mhm.
on the verge of giving us information. And then what's going to happen with the, what'd you say, the Morgan Stanley,
Yep. Morgan Stanley.
MS,
Yep.
yeah, that's going to
MSCI.
happen. Yeah, it's just the picture's just getting clearer and clearer every day.
See, and those firms, for example, these various wealth management firms, they are directly connected to the FTSE Russell, the MSCI, the Morgan Stanley Composite Index, and the World Trade Organization. All these, they're connected to all of these international agencies because they do billions daily in transactions with them. So they know in advance what's going to happen before it happens. And folks, honestly, when it comes to when these firms share with their clients, these firms are not going to do public seminars to say, hey, 6 months in advance, we're going to tell the whole world that you should invest in four. They're not going to do that because they're not allowed to advertise at all. They will only share it with their existing clients. Go ahead, young lady.
Sure, because it would be along the lines of insider trading, but something that you helped us with when you would explain how what a Forex trader can see and what their not predictions, but I guess that's the best term I could come up with right now. How their forecast. Thank you so much. Yes, their forecast. And then it would make me think back on the conversations that I've had with my private wealth manager because we have spoken very, very openly about what I have, but I've never told him how much I have. And you know, he's a really great guy, and he's asked me in more than one fashion. But you would explain things, and then I would think back on the conversations, and I'm like, that's why he's asking me in that way. It makes sense how he questions me because he can't say so much.
Yes.
But the way, right. You can kind of connect the dots once you're able to have those conversations with him.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Correct.
So, just, right. So I was supposed to.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To.
I was, just for a little bit of a personal thing for those that are listening. So I had been on a every couple of week touch base with him. Okay. Is how my personal private wealth manager had laid it out to me months ago. Just be in touch with me every 2 weeks. Let me know what's happening with your investments and the changes that are coming. So I would send him an article, and we're kind of anticipating this law or the Clarity Act or the Genius Act, whatever was going on at the moment. And then we spoke again, and he basically kind of let me off the hook. He just said, listen, we'll just talk at the end of September. We don't need to keep doing this. And I said, good, because I felt like a chihuahua, biting at your ankle a little bit. So yes. Yeah. So I'm getting ready to I'm not going to be available at the end of the month. So I'm getting ready to compose another email and send it to him. And I'm determined that if he starts questioning me again, I spoke with a friend, a tribe member, a friend who I know is listening tonight. And if he asks me again, then I'm just going to say, if you would like to verify everything, I'll be glad to bring it in and let you look at it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, you've had very great conversations with this firm. You'll be just fine. Yeah, extensive. You're on the money. And folks, what she said a few minutes ago about insider trading, this is why you have to understand how many people who ran into the banks many months and years ago to open and talking about all kind of stuff. There's things that it's illegal, literally. It's against the laws of these bankers to just come out and say certain things because it can be considered insider trading.
Absolutely.
Who in the world would be in that position and commit a career suicide for somebody coming in there to talk crazy just to get an answer about the RV and the dinar and all this and Sudan and blah, blah, blah? They're not going to just come out and say stuff to you. They will ask you questions. like they did Alice and many other members, just to plant a seed to let you know, yeah, we know what's going on, but I'm gonna let you know because I'm gonna ask you questions because I see that you have the intelligence to be able to have a intelligent conversation with me, so that I can let you know we know what's going on, but we can't come out. And then also, I, as a wealth manager, I can ask you certain questions, but at the same time, knowing that my firm is going to send a newsletter to all of our clients anyway, because they've been getting the newsletter periodically, monthly, quarterly, whatever it may be, just to let our clients know what we see is happening in these 5-6 different areas of investments. So therefore, our existing clients, we already manage their portfolios. So we can suggest to them these are some areas they may want to take a look at, and we can just move their money that we already invest for them into this area, into foreign investments, into commodities, into whatever it may be. But they plant those seeds in questions and their newsletters. That's what y'all been getting. So I'm glad you picked up on those questions, Alice. And also, I want to send my heartfelt condolences to you and your family with your loss.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll let you guys go for the evening. Thank you so much, Freedom. Thanks.
You got it.
Peculiar Ram.
Talk to you later, girl.
Bye, honey.
Bye, honey.
Ty Too Pretty, are you able to unmute? Ty Too Pretty, are you able to unmute?
Yes, I am.
My good man. Are you... For those that don't know, this is the baby-faced assassin we have here. 26-year-old man, four-year-old daughter. Her birthday was August the 20 what?
August 28th.
28. She turned 4 years old. I don't know why I forget my own birthday. I remember your daughter's birthday almost. But you just had a invitation only. And I see you, the wonderful, awesome Lady Unique, will come to you next, beloved.
Oh, yeah.
Todd, you just had an invitation only meeting webinar with your firm that you got, and we touched on some of the similar things that you just heard from a man of few words and others.
Yes, that is correct.
Can you touch on a little bit without giving too much detail, without not getting too little, without too much, like in the middle? What did and this was an invitation only, folks, invitation only. Since he's already linked in, already has his relationship.
Fancy.
Right, fancy, invitation only. Can you share what you feel like you can share?
Yeah, basically it's just like, how can I put it? Everything that we see going on in the articles now, and really just it's going to offer a high-level overview and a comprehensive overview of, I'm gonna just say global equities and emerging markets, and Europe, China. I'm just in the APAC region.
Emerging Asia.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's once again invitation only, but everything that's you guys have been talking about, literally I would say either the same day or 2-3 days later I'm getting articles on it
from your wealth management firm.
Yeah, from the wealth management firm. Yeah.
And folks, the wealth management firm that this young man is connected to, has a relationship with, is a wealth management firm whereby they mainly focus on professional athletes.
Yes. Well, I would say this particular wealth manager.
Yes, that particular wealth manager focuses on professional athletes, right?
Yes.
Yep. So it's his private wealth manager that is within this firm, but that specific wealth manager that Ty has an amazing relationship with, I wouldn't be surprised if if your wealth manager got some of these professional athletes investing in the same things too.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, my
Yeah.
good man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing so much. And
Congratulations on your continued success.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. Same to you.
yes. And the queen herself, Lady Unique. If you can unmute.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, beautiful lady. How
Hey,
you doing?
I'm doing. What up,
It's good to hear
sis?
your voice.
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to share real quick, based on tonight's conversation, education. I was invited to a webinar with
Mm-hmm.
my firm,
Mm-hmm.
and the title of that webinar was Optimists Make Money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very interesting webinar that discussed emerging markets,
Mm-hmm.
effects of economy,
Mm-hmm.
um, future investing ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they were pretty much in tune with what we're discussing tonight and what Goldilocks has been sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it was presented was I just had to put my pen down. I couldn't take no more notes because I already had the notes. And then
Mm.
after that, I received just a follow up from my firm because we had got to the phase now with so much other things that on processes and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
As you had mentioned, you get so far in this firm. And for a while, I started feeling like, dang, what else am I do? I gotta have something to do. But they were saying that, and I had shared this with you earlier, Freedom Fighter, and why
Mm-hmm.
that we're now at the point where they can't say anything else legally to protect
Mm-hmm.
themselves,
Mm-hmm.
which I respect and understand. And it made a very at first my feelings was hurt, but it
Mm-hmm.
gave me more um, confidence in loving this firm that they're respecting where we're at, what they've shared with me, that to stay within the rules and the
Mm-hmm.
protocols,
Mm-hmm.
that they are protecting themselves, because if they
Mm-hmm.
don't take care of themselves, they can't take care of their client.
That's
And
right.
that's how I took that.
Right.
So yeah, just listening to everyone, what I've heard from Alice and Ricky Ram, when the stuff get and tied to pretty hello son. It's
Hello.
just I bet it's just awesome. So I just wanted to share that, and but that's it. And if I could on the side, I think Zach's
Mhm.
on the call. Happy
Oh,
birthday, Zach!
hold on. It's Zach's birthday? Where is he? Zach, if you can unmute, we need. There he is.
Yeah, happy freaking birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, young man.
Goodness.
Zach, you can unmute.
It's your family.
Oh, come on.
Oh, happy birthday, good man.
Oh my God, it's been so long. How is
I
everybody
know.
doing?
We good. We good. Good to hear
Hey,
your voice. Good to hear your voice.
hey, Peculiar Ram, let's get him. Let's get him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Oh
birthday.
wow.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God. God bless you. Thank you, sis.
Beautiful,
Thank you.
man.
Still eating cake. We still eating cake. Okay.
And the
Hey, all
one and
right. Hey,
only
sis.
Amber. That's beautiful.
I want to
Beautiful.
say happy birthday to Zach.
Oh, me a
Go
slice.
ahead.
Happy birthday, Zach.
Thank you. Thank you, sis.
I
Thank you,
love you, brother.
beautiful. Love you guys. Love you, sis. To the moon and back.
You know it.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Good way to end the birthday with some awesome R&B.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Best
Yes.
birthday present
Man,
ever.
Zach
Yeah.
came from Zach came from behind the dumpster at the Piggly Wiggly to get a birthday gift wish from us.
Oh
That is
man, yes.
beautiful.
Oh God,
Back,
boy.
It's
back. Next year we're turning
beautiful.
up for your birthday. Okay.
What? Say that again.
Next year we're turning up for your birthday.
You gonna be your Monte Carlo? What y'all talking about?
Go
Okay.
ahead on, Amber.
Amber, we gonna Amber.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness, that's so amazing.
It's beautiful,
Happy
man.
birthday. And Lady
It's
Thank
Unique,
good.
I was going to say, oh, I'm sorry. I was going to
Go
say that
ahead.
they're probably scared to get, the wealth managers are probably scared to say anything else to you because they probably think y'all are colleagues. I mean, you know just as much as they do at this point.
Right.
If I'm too familiar with you, like, oh, shoot, we talking to her like it's an after work meeting and we're just going over the notes and stuff. They have to
You know
stop
what?
them with you because
I,
you've got
I,
really far.
yeah, what I think it is with her that they might be too afraid to say too much because she knows so much. Yeah, 'cause, yeah, you're right because you're right. They might be like they just start talking to her like they at the water fountain with another wealth man. Like, hold up, I'm talking to a client. What the hell am I telling her for this for?
Well, it's
Why am I
y'all's fault.
telling?
It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Uncle Wiley go. It's y'all's fault. See what you started?
Yeah. Then will the manager go back to the legal team saying, "Well, you know, I told Lady Unique about the dong and what to expect, but I thought she was Johnny, my colleague. I didn't mean to say it. Am I going to get fired? Am I going to lose my license?"
And kind of flipping up at the mouth.
No wonder why they offered Lady Unique a position at that one firm. So, can you be on our advisory board? Because we don't want to say too much, get in trouble, but just be on our advisory board so we can speak freely and openly to you.
Joy. Side and dotted line. We'll throw you in there.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny. Beautiful. Well, folks, we love you all. We miss you all. So glad to hear everyone's voices. So glad to get the feedback from you all and from your wealth management firms because it's just additional confirmation of what Goldilocks has been sharing, additional confirmation what Wiley has been stating and what myself and the tribe, we all have just been focused on for the last year at establishing relationships. Now you see how you all who have done so, especially in the tribe, you see how advanced, how ahead you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're so far ahead in this investment. And I just thank God that we all came together so that the information can be shared and you all followed up, you executed, you asked the questions in the room, you got the help, you got the guidance. Some of you kind of fell at times, bumped your head, scraped your knee, but you got back up, we dust you off, go back out, and now look at you all. So many of you all over. And even those that aren't even on this call, those that we will never hear from, but it's because of many of you who have shared your stories, your updates, you've impacted millions across the world, and we appreciate you all. Yeah.
Without you
Yes,
guys.
indeed. All right, beautiful folks.
Iron.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, I just said iron sharpens iron. We wouldn't be as
Sharp and iron.
sharp
Exactly.
as we are if it wasn't for you guys being sharp as you guys are.
Thank you. We're just doing what God set us out to do to be here for you all.
Oh, Freedom,
All right,
can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Ty.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to tell people as close as, we get to receiving the blessings, just try to stay focused, focus on your own. Despite what you see going on worldly, try not to put your energy in towards with it, just don't do it. I don't want to say too much. Just focus on what you have going on. Just try not to focus, but what else is going on. That's about it.
I like that. I like
Yes.
that. I love that because especially that's a great point you make because especially as we get closer to what God has in store as a blessing for you folks, the enemy will present many distractions to try to throw you off from receiving your blessings. And there's many distractions that are out in the public domain right now in the hopes to possibly throw you off. Don't, what Ty is telling you is, and I'm loving that he's saying this, and this is from the wisdom from a very young man that is way beyond his years, and he's sharing it with you. Thank you for sharing that, Ty.
Yeah, the jig is up. Enemy already knows he's lost.
There you go.
Amen.
Just stick
Amen.
with it.
There you go. There you go. Beautiful.
Freedom
All right,
fighters,
beautiful folks. Go ahead.
stay grounded, everybody. I'll just say, like you said, stay grounded.
Stay grounded.
Forward
Yep.
is the only way to go.
I
That's
love
right.
that. There you go. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What did okay. I was thought Lady Unique had something else. All right, beautiful folks.
Love you
Everyone,
guys. Good night.
much we love you. We love you. We love you all unconditionally. Everyone have a good night. Be well, and we will see you next Saturday, same time, same bat channel. All right. Take care, folks.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
All right.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RV GCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RV GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.